Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is our Lucha Underground review. Lucha Underground, we saw the latest round of the Cueto Cup be concluded tonight before moving on to the next round, as well as a very fun main event between PJ Black and Rey Mysterio. And we also got some very entertaining cinematics sandwiched between all of the in-ring action. So on the whole, I'd say another very enjoyable episode of Lucha Underground. But don't take my word for it. Let's ask my cohort and commentary here. Ashton, what do you think of Lucha Underground tonight?
Hey, look, man, they can take your word for it because all my word is going to do is parrot everything you said because I agree with what you said word for word.
Well, brother, nothing really more to say than that. Yeah, do you want to just get right into our Lucha Underground review here?
Let's go.
All right, let us get right into our Lucha Underground review. And we don't have a cinematic to open. We get a recap, kind of laying the foundation for everything tonight. We get right into our first match, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the Mac versus Tejano.
That is correct. And you open with Mac Tejano.
What'd you think about this match, Ashton?
More proof that the Mac is not human.
Yeah, I mean, the Mac, really, to me, what made this match so great was the Mac. Like, he really got to show off his athleticism. I think Tejano showed off his athleticism, too, in the latter half of the match, which was nice. But, I mean, the Mac, to me, is just a gem. I mean, I even said in live reactions, and of course this is our more serious space, when he's not in Worldwide Underground's crosshairs, I adore the man. I love watching him compete. I think he's got a great personality, great charisma. You know, pretty much the antithesis of Tejano, which is why he should really take Famous B up on his offer. And I'll tell you, Famous B is paying dividends for Tejano whether he wants him to or not, because he was the difference maker in this match. The Mac was in firm control when Famous B showed up from behind Mac, squirted him with a water gun, you know, in the cowboy getup. Famous B eats a stunner, but then the Mac turns back around and he gets powerbombed by Tejano, and that's how Tejano beats the Mac to advance in the tournament. So a solid opening contest. Again, really got to show the wide array of what the Mac can do. I feel like it was actually a good match for the uninitiated if you didn't really know anything. And, you know, Famous B continues to deepen his claws into Tejano. So I don't really have anything else to say. What about you, man? What do you think about all this?
Yeah, I thought this was very entertaining. I think that Famous B is everything that Tejano needs and more. I think that Tejano and Famous B are like the perfect pairing because Tejano is really like, he's basically the Sheamus, I feel like, of Lucha Underground. And if Sheamus had a really charismatic heel manager in WWE, it would make his presentation infinitely better. And that's basically what we're getting here. Tejano plus an infinitely charismatic heel manager in Famous B. The only thing that I can say that I was unhappy about as far as this segment went was the unfortunate lack of the beautiful Brenda.
Yes, I would agree with you there. And, you know, you mentioned that it's a perfect pairing, and I completely agree with you. One, just to kind of reiterate all the sentiments that you just said, I completely agree with the fact that Tejano does need somebody like Famous B. But then if you're looking at it from a more kayfabe lens, if you're Famous B, you want a clientele that you believe can be Lucha Underground champion. And I think in Famous B's mind, Tejano fits that build because, I mean, you look at, like, how he's built, how he gets things done in the ring, and Famous B's probably thinking, that's my ringer right there. Whenever I'm doing advertising in the future, he's the guy I want to point to and say, these are the kinds of people I have running with me. Don't you want to run with them too? So I think, yeah, it's definitely one of those mutually beneficial relationships if Tejano would allow it to happen, which right now he hasn't. But because of Famous B, he advances. I got nothing else to say about this. Unless you do, we can move right along.
Well, then I guess we can just move right on along because I believe after this match, we had Son of Havoc shown at a local bar taking some shots from the bartender. Just next thing you know, though, Son of Madness shows up, and we get kind of I guess you could call it a bar fight here, but it was really more of just like a really aggressive exchange because there wasn't really like any major like fist-to-face contact or anything like that here. But Son of Madness tells Havoc that he turned his back on the invisible cult and that he is going to make his life hell and bring him back to the cult, even if it's just his head that he's bringing back.
You know what? Before I get all my long-winded self, what did you think about all this?
No. I want to hear you first.
Oh, that's different. All right. Yeah. You know what this cinematic really made me appreciate, and I know it's gonna seem so simple and maybe even kind of stupid, but that like everybody has a story, right? Because let's think about the very first time we saw Son of Havoc. It was against Sexy Star, and he cut that infamous promo, "I'm not wrestling a woman," and like. You hear a guy like that who seems like he's going all ham and he's going to be that type of character. And then you go like all these seasons later and you realize, oh crap, there was a time that Son of Havoc was in way too deep and had to change his life because he did not like where his life was going. So I really just appreciated the evolution of Havoc here as it relates narratively speaking. And yeah, I love that we're kind of doing a biker gang kind of storyline because I am a Sons of Anarchy fan. I am kind of frozen on season 2, so no spoilers, anybody, because we've got a bunch of other Netflix shows we're juggling. But it's so good, and I love that Lucha Underground seems to really be paying mind in small ways to biker culture, which, I mean, that doesn't surprise me. They do seem to be very thorough when they do anything. I mean, look at their tasteful approach to Killshot and Dante Fox. So I love that they're going in this territory. And yeah, Son of Madness wants to bring Havoc back into the fold, even if it's just his head that comes back into the fold. And Havoc is trying to maintain his nomadic spirit, his freedom. So you can already very easily see the tension. And yeah, I love this cinematic because now we're really seeing the pieces come together. So now, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I think that the really unfortunate thing is that I'm actually too unfamiliar with biker culture to even know why this is happening. So really, I feel like I have to like watch documentaries now on biker gang culture to figure out like what the hell the problem is that Son of Havoc left this biker gang.
But what does it say about a promotion that it could even get you to care on that level in the first place?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is because like I know Lucha Underground does their research to the degree that I feel like now I'm under-researched in this category, you know?
Yeah, and you know what, though, just to kind of build on that point, because I think you're saying something that is really a big compliment to Lucha Underground. They'll never dumb down for their audience. If anything, they expect their audience, like, if you don't get something, we trust that you care about us enough to fill in the gaps. And, like, you're proof of that with what you just said, because they're not going to slow down. If they're doing a biker storyline, they're not going to do your watered down stereotypes that make you think biker storyline. There is going to be a story there, and it is going to have teeth. And, you know, if you can't keep up, like in your off time, do the research. We'll wait for you. But I love that. I love that they're uncompromising. They don't insult their audience. And they're like, these are the storylines we're doing, and we're going to go far beyond stereotypes or the very basic points for you to get it. And yeah, that's why I'm loving this. I'm loving Dante Fox and Killshot. I'm loving this groove that Lucha Underground seems to be in with their storylines lately, where they're touching on real world stuff, but they're giving it that Lucha Underground flair, taking it to the next level. And it's just so good, dude. So good.
Yeah, this is really well done. Definitely appreciate the nuance that goes into this storyline. And really, I'm just kind of wondering what the end game is with this, because obviously the sort of the goal end game on Son of Madness's part is to get Son of Havoc to either willingly rejoin the invisible cult or to murder him and take his head back so they can see that he murdered him.
You know what? Since you posed that question, you mind if I answer it? Because I'll call my chips right now. I actually think he'll join them again. I'm thinking there's a very interesting story going on here with Havoc. Now, it could go one of two ways. Either he resists the temptation, he's like, no, I'm my own man, or, because if we look at it, he's really been getting fucked with lately. Yeah. Right? Like, got screwed out of the Ultima Lucha Trace main event by Dr. Widener Jr. and all them, and then he gets screwed over again, admittedly by Son of Madness, but still, again, screwed over. And, you know, I think it's going to come to a point where Havoc's like, you know what I need so that this doesn't happen again? I need people to run with. I'm going back to my gang with my colors, and I'm bringing them to the temple with me, and we're going to rule this. I would not be surprised if there would be somebody else to step forward, and maybe we'd get Son of Havoc, Son of Madness, and a third member as like a
Son
new
of
trio.
Chaos.
Son of Chaos, yeah.
Son
As
of
a dreamer.
entropy.
Yeah. And so
Son
that's
of
my
disorder.
yeah. I mean, so essentially, you know, even though I am biased because I'm always looking for the next big heel and I adore heels and this and that, I do think it's possible that Son of Havoc's just thinking, I've been eating a lot of crap lately. I don't like the taste of any of it. I should be Lucha Underground champion. I should have been in the main event of Ultimate Lucha Trace, not whoever the champion is and whoever the Cueto Cup winner was, which also should have been me in my mind. I'm going to run with people that are going to watch my back. I'll watch theirs, and we're going to take over this because clearly the people that are running it now do not care about me or my brothers. And so, yeah, I could totally see Havoc going that route. So I'm calling my shot there. I think, yeah, he's going to get back in the gang, or maybe he'll just be inspired to start a new biker gang, one or the other.
Or aren't you just ballsy?
Absolutely. So I got nothing else to say about it. Unless you do, we can move right along.
Well, up next, we actually got a second consecutive cinematic segment. However, this was, I mean, it was sort of implied that this was actually taking place in the temple because we saw Paul London and Mala Suerte playing checkers on the checkerboard suit on the chest of Saltador. So these guys are playing checkers. Next thing you know, Mascarita Sagrada shows up with a box with a bunch of ribbons and tape and shit on it, and it turns out he brought them a present. Isn't this lovely?
That's so nice of him, so considerate. But since it seems that you're a bigger fan of the Rabbit Tribe than myself, I'm gonna let you have this one because things took a dark turn here.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, that was so sweet. Mascarita finally trying to kind of warm up to the tribe that already sees him as a god. And then they open it, and there's this over-the-top hilarious moment where they're like pulling out all of these styrofoam peanuts out of this box, trying to get to the actual gift. And then Saltador grabs the Lucky Rabbit's foot and pulls it out. And knowing that Mascarita had to murder one of their own in order to achieve this feat, they all scream in horror.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it. I love
You're sick, man.
I mean, well, that was already established. I mean, I feel like it's kind of stating the obvious at this point. But I mean, I just love how everything was set up because you know that this isn't out of character for Mascarita because he's been trying to get these guys to go away for a while now. And he tried to be polite about it at first, saying, no, you don't understand. Like, I don't want any of this. And now he's like, okay, they're not getting it. What kind of language can I speak so that they're receptive to what I'm saying? And he goes the dark route. And I love the setup, too. The idea that that gift seemed to be bottomless, like packaged peanuts for days. And then they finally get to it, and the screams and everything. And by the way, I love how into this role Paul London is. Don't be rude. Read the card. Like, everything about this was great to me. And I love that Lucha Underground acknowledges that, hey, there are many different types of comedy, including dark comedy. Let's tap a little bit into that. I mean, granted, if you're me, you see a lot of things as dark comedy, like Bale getting his face eaten, Cisco dying. But I mean, this I feel like was genuine across the board, like dark comedy, if you look at how it is contextually, the environment and everything else. So yeah, I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, this is quite entertaining. And man, I just dig the Rabbit Tribe. I like the vibe that they give off. I think they're entertaining. I love Paul London especially. And yeah, let's just kind of move on from that onto our second match of the night, Drago versus Pentagon Dark. And really, this match was really fun early on, and then it didn't really pick up, but it got more physical as it went on, with the sort of final finishing sequence being the factor from Pentagon on Drago, which is the package pile driver, putting Drago away and picking up the W there for Pentagon Dark.
Yeah, you pretty much echoed my sentiments as far as the structure of the match. I enjoyed it. I thought this was one of Drago's better outings. Like, it reminded me how good he can be. And Pentagon Dark is always a joy to watch. Really, I think the more worthwhile discussion here is the post-match, because Pentagon Dark wastes no time. It seems like he's about to break the arm of Drago. Cobra Moon starts to step in. She gets super kicked for her trouble, so night-night Moon. And then when Pentagon Dark, it really seems like he's about to break the arm this time. Aerostar, of all people, shows up. And, well, Ashton, I'll let you take care of the rest, bud, because, again, things kind of take
I
a
was
dark
one
turn.
of the people that was really hoping that the rest of the Serpent Tribe was going to show up here and that we were going to get this big epic Pindar and Vibora versus Pentagon stand down and maybe even like a 2-on-1 fight or something like that. But it ended up being Aerostar, like you said. He comes out, he manages to pull Pentagon off Drago before the arm break happens. And then he tries to shake Drago's hand. And when Drago is still kind of out of it, he grabs Drago's arm and like puts it on his own as if he's like forcing him to shake his hand. And then Drago uses his free hand to break the handshake up, kick Aerostar in the stomach, and leave him kind of like battered and bruised, and leaves with Cobra Moon. And then Pentagon, realizing, oh shit, I didn't get to break one arm, but there's another one in the ring right here for me to take advantage of. He jumps up in the air and lands with his full body weight on Aerostar in a double stomp, and then breaks Aerostar's arm.
Okay, now, as hilarious as that was, I actually got all the laughter out so that we could talk about this like sensible people, and I'll probably laugh again later. What I wanted to ask you was, because here's the thing, I love it, but not for the reasons you think, although that's also true. I love that even though Pentagon does seem like he's going to be more technico, that doesn't get conflated with compromising. You know, it's like, oh, just because I'm a good guy doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing what I do, because that's why people fell in love with me in the first place. And I love that he's still indiscriminate about it. Like, while he still would primarily do it to Rudos, if somebody's going to stick their nose in my business, whether good guy or bad, an arm is an arm is an arm. And I love that mindset for the character, because I think that's going to keep the love or the hate or whatever you feel going. And right now, a lot of people seem to love it. Like, I don't think we're dealing with a Roman Reigns situation here. I think this guy, for who he is so beloved, and they don't care where the violence comes from. They just want to see it. So what do you think about all that?
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's something that WWE doesn't do nearly enough. And that's that they are able to have somebody change alignment without changing characters.
Exactly. And there's the soundbite right there, Ashton, because you summed it up perfectly. And yeah, honestly, that was so good. I'm not even going to say anything else. Unless you have anything to add, we can move on.
All right, well, then let's move on, because up next, we had our third and final backstage cinematic, and it was Pentagon Dark walking to the back from the ring, and we see him in the hallway confronted by Katrina. She tells him that he took something from her and Mil Muertes, and then grabs him by the head and sort of like astral projects the memories of Pentagon attacking Mil and costing him the Lucha Underground Championship at Aztec Warfare 2, which is last season. It happened last season, which is like a good, like, I want to say at this point, it's got to be like close to 40 episodes ago, which is crazy to me. But yeah, so she's still pissed about that. And she says that they never forget, and revenge is going to be coming his way. And then he does the Cero Miedo sign. And then she's like, oh, listen, man, if as soon as Mil takes care of Jeremiah, he's going to take you out in the Cueto Cup. And then she disappears and ends up behind Pentagon, and then threatens him again, and then disappears entirely.
You know, if you go back, unless you were here live, folks, but for those that missed it, if you go back and listen to our live reactions tonight, which you can, they are on the channel now, I loved how your voice got in this cinematic, because when you realized they were referencing something in season 2, like, I could see how into it you were. And this really is Lucha Underground at its best to me, when it connects all those seemingly disparate threads, and you're like,
I mean, the beautiful thing is, you were even talking earlier about how Lucha Underground does not insult their audience, and this is the ultimate example of that.
Exactly. And it's great, because you were even like, I could remember you like audibly said, wait, what did he take from Mil? And then they do that just as a refresher. You know, they don't beat you over the head with it. It's just that simple, like, imagery. They show you the footage. And yeah, it works so well. Like, this cinematic to me is just another embodiment among many of just what is so right about Lucha Underground. I love the exchange between these two. I love that there's still hostility between these two. And really does beg the question, are these two going to see each other, that being Pentagon Dark and Mil Muertes, in the Cueto Cup? And if they do, it's going to be just an incredible match, because you're talking Mil. I know he's your favorite worker in Lucha Underground. I don't even know where Pentagon Dark ranks for you, but I'm assuming you're a big fan of Pentagon Dark. So that'll be great reactions out of you.
Yeah, Pentagon is easily in my top 10. He's not in my top 5, but he's in that 6 to 10 range for sure.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a quality matchup if we get it. If we get it, we may very easily not get it. And Jeremiah, because, I mean, you did point out on live reactions that, Pentagon has seemingly been facing Rudos on his path to the title, and Jeremiah fits the bill more than Mil. But either way, I do find that very interesting. And that's a feud to me, Mil Muertes and Pentagon Dark, that's so rich, given the two worlds that are coming together, that you can keep mining that for several seasons to me. Because it's not like, and see why I say that is
well, they already have. They already have mined it for several seasons, because it started in season 2 and we're getting a continuation of it now.
Exactly. And see why I think that works, and this is the point I was getting ready to make. Lucha Underground has never done like what I call the Cena-Orton conundrum, where it seems like they fail over and over and over again. People can have a history, but they've always got a nice, healthy space between matches, and that's why I'm always okay with it. Like you look at Cage and Mac, for instance. I've always felt like they've had a nice, healthy distance between bouts, however many matches they've had. And, Puma and Mundo the same way. And so, yeah, that's the beauty of Lucha Underground. They don't mind going back to a match or a feud. They just know, okay, we've got to space it out so that people are just as jazzed to return to it as we are. And I think they do that so beautifully.
That's really a beautiful thing, too, because if you think about it, how many times have we seen Mil versus Phoenix? And yet we're at the point now where if we would restart that feud, I would be perfectly okay with it, because A, I know their matches are great, and B, I feel like it's been long enough since the last time we had those guys in the ring with each other that I feel like it would be fresh again by this point.
And here's the thing, too, and again, what do we always say in our Lucha Underground reviews? If not every review, I think for a good bulk of them, the narrative side is their bread and butter. That, to me, is where the money is. And when you got the space between matches, you know what else happens? The narrative itself transforms. For example, if you were to go back to Phoenix and Mil, well, now the narrative's changed to where Melissa is in Phoenix's corner now, which has got to make Katrina feel a certain way, because Katrina's true love is Phoenix. So you immediately go from Mil wants to kill Phoenix to Mil wants to kill Phoenix, but Katrina's in love with Phoenix, to Mil wants to kill Phoenix, and Katrina's in love with Phoenix, but Melissa Santos also has feelings for Phoenix. It's like the story evolves, and that's why you
continuously.
Can keep going. Exactly. Whereas when, again, going back to the Cena-Orton example, I don't care if you face off 20 times, just space out the 20 matches, and the other primary ingredient that is of utmost importance here, how has the narrative evolved? And I don't think they've had much narrative evolution, whereas Phoenix and Mil, even in small ways, has. And that's why Lucha Underground narratively trumps most, if not all, promotions going right now, because they get it. They just get it. And yeah, again, this cinematic was emblematic of that, because Katrina hasn't forgotten, but Pentagon's gone through some changes since season 2, as has Mil. So we know when they meet again, it won't even be the same matchup or the same encounter that they had the last time they met up. And I love this place so much. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. Sorry for that mini rant there, but I really wanted to drive the point home that Lucha Underground owns the narrative. They really do, and they play with it beautifully. And I got nothing else to add. Unless you do, we can move on.
No, I was going to say, you know what, though? I love that, too, because really it might not be the biggest problem in WWE, but it is a very big problem in WWE, is just the constant rematches.
Yes, for sure.
And that's the thing, too, is that's one of the WWE problems that doesn't even stop at the main roster. That's a problem we face constantly in NXT, even, is that they are just obsessed with having the same people contend for the same titles months and months and months on end.
Well, I mean, dude, even look at, I know this doesn't exactly correlate directly to the point you just made, but look at a story that I have a huge problem with in WWE on the main roster, Alexa Bliss and Bayley. where's the evolution in that? Like, because I know the story they're trying to tell, right? Oh, Bayley's roaring back after hitting rock bottom, but I never really felt like we got to see, I mean, we did, just not in the way that you'd expect to see a rock bottom story, because we were looking at it more as, oh my God, this character has no momentum left, but WWE to me never really played out a struggle. And now she's at the Big Four pay-per-view fighting Bliss again. I don't think anybody's really changed or grown. I don't think Bayley's grown at all from anything she's endured. Whereas Phoenix, you know, like I feel like he's grown. Mill's definitely grown. He's gone through like what, 2 transformations now? And like, yeah, Pentagon having both of his arms broken. Now he's back and he seems to be targeting Rudos, and he's doing it all without Vampiro. Why? Because Vampiro's moved on to Puma. And it's just, you see these narrative shifts and it keeps you engaged. Whereas I just feel like there's this stagnant air in a lot of WWE stories, and it's a shame because you've got quality performers to carry them.
Dude,
you know?
it's so interesting when we think about Pentagon and Mill too, because we can point at the exact moments in their Lucha Underground careers when their characters were forced to change and update and evolve, right?
Yeah.
Because with Mill, we can point to every time he's died and had to be resurrected by Katrina, he's been brought back stronger, more powerful, angrier, more aggressive than ever, right?
Exactly.
Well, with Pentagon, the moment he got betrayed by Chavo, his character evolved. When Vampiro revealed that he was Pentagon's master, Pentagon's character evolved. When Pentagon realized that Vampiro was holding him back and ultimately prevented him from being able to defeat Matanza for the Lucha Underground Championship, his character evolved. Hell, that same night when he went into the Cave of Clones, or whatever the hell you want to call it, and came out as Pentagon Dark, his character evolved both literally and figuratively. And then I would say, to a degree, most recently, when he got both of his arms broken, his character was forced to evolve. So Pentagon, more than anyone really, has undergone countless transformations from a character standpoint in the Lucha Underground universe, or as I like to call it, the Luchaverse. And that's something that we don't see in WWE really at all. Like, it might happen once or twice a year, but it does not happen nearly enough on that show.
Eggs. And you know what, brother? On that note, I'm good on this cinematic. If you want to move on, we can.
And we can move on because up next we've got our main event, and that is Prince Puma, Jesus Christ, PJ Black versus Rey Mysterio Jr. And yeah, I mean, as expected, this was a really good match. I'm going to say I do think that I enjoyed PJ versus Puma last week a little better than this, but I think that has more to do with the fact that I just can't get into Rey Mysterio matches that much anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm kind of the same way.
Plus, I even pointed out my problem with them in our live reactions. He is, from a kayfabe perspective, meaning talking about his fighting style, he is a one-trick pony. His goal is to shoot you into the middle rope and hit you with a 619. And that's what his entire moveset is based around. And that might be cool from like an, oh, my goal is perspective, but it's not a particularly entertaining perspective to watch relative to all of these other incredible athletes that we have in the temple. It might have been like, oh, wow, that's so cool and unique and different in WWE when everyone's wrestling the same style, and Rey is a little bit of a change-up on that. But when you're in Lucha Underground and everyone is amazing and everyone works different styles and everyone does something different and stuff that we haven't seen before, Rey needs to update his shit, and he hasn't.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because what we were just talking about in the preceding segment, you know, the cinematic, was evolution and growth. And I feel like Rey is kind of antithetical to that. And I mean, you know, the reason being, he is that legend. He does have that kind of status. But I mean, yeah, updating your repertoire even a little bit. Hell, even Undertaker did it from time to time. He didn't always have the Hell's Gate. He didn't always have this move or that move. You know, he kind of added it in. Be nice if Rey followed suit. And I will agree with you. I felt like PJ Black and Puma was the superior main event last week. Also because, and hey, I will never bemoan getting to see Johnny Mundo, but I love that Puma and PJ were able to go out there and have a match. Yeah. And PJ was really able to show what he could do without any shenanigans. Again, I adore Worldwide Underground, and it comes with the territory, especially given that the broader narrative here is Rey is getting a title shot in now 4 weeks. So I get it. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely get it. It's just, it was so cool seeing PJ set the world ablaze in an actual wrestling match with Prince Puma, who is one of the best wrestlers in the temple. So yeah, this match wasn't bad by any means. I was totally rooting for PJ. I know you were too. Pretty much everybody was, save for Alex Foster. But we love you anyway, Foster. He was Rey Mysterio all the way. He would have won big tonight if money was on the line. And yeah, Worldwide Underground comes out because there is a ref bump at one point. And they lay the boots to Mysterio. We do get a Jack Evans sighting, which is cool. They do a triple team, and Jack.
I love too that Jack Evans has his bandana on like vertically so as to keep his mouth shut.
Exactly. And gets a super kick on Rey. Of course, none of it's enough. And El Dragon Azteca Jr. chases Worldwide Underground off. And then Rey gets a 619. And then kind of a springboard splash is kind of a frog splash, like in the middle between like being in the air and crashing on PJ. So Rey gets the 3 count. And then honestly, like not to just kind of wave Rey off, but he does cut a promo where he essentially says that, Johnny, sooner or later you're going to be tired of running and I'm going to be there because that time is 4 weeks. And I am going to become Lucha Underground champion and me and my people are going to make history. But I'm not going to leave you empty-handed. I'll be leaving you with a 6-1-9, to which I did such an eye roll. You would have thought that I perfected my Undertaker impersonation. And yeah.
Or your Nagata impersonation.
Yeah, there you go. Still in that G1 mode, man. But yeah.
That's something to your mic, by the way?
No, why?
Because it sounds like it's like touching or scraping up against something a lot.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to move it down just a little bit because it's probably scraping up against my glasses. But regardless, yeah, Rey just cut a very, I mean, I don't want to say basic because it wasn't terrible by any means, but a very basic babyface promo. I'm going to trump the bad guy. We're all going to celebrate together and it's going to be a great time. And yeah, solid main event, but I'm really looking more forward to what PJ Black does in his future than what Rey does in his future because I already know what's in his future and that's lying on his back after losing to Johnny Mundo. So
that's right, baby. And that'll be also in PJ's future because he's going to help Johnny beat him.
Exactly. So I got nothing else to say unless you do. There was no ending cinematic this week, so we could go right into our next segment on TWitWoW here.
Yeah, we were thinking about maybe getting an ending cinematic, but then it turned out no, it was just Rey's promo that he cut after the match. And you know what? It also a development that we were unaware of. Finals to the Cueto Cup is in 4 weeks because that's the same night that we're getting Mysterio versus Mundo. So the next 3 weeks. We're going to narrow this field down from 8 to 2. And then on that 4th week, we're going to get the finals of the Cueto Cup and Mysterio Mundo in the same night.
That is nuts. That's going to be one hell of an episode for season 3. And it's all
crazy, though, to think that we only have 8 people left in the Cueto Cup. We've got the Tejano, Pentagon, Mill, Jeremiah, Pindar of all people, Phoenix, Puma, and Dante Fox. Those are our final 8 right there. The Elite 8.
Yes. I really am looking forward to how it all shakes out. This has been a really fun tournament. And that caps off this episode of Lucha Underground. So do you have anything else to say, or can we move on to our next segment?
Let's move on.
High spots and low shots. My low shot, and I say it with the utmost glee, Aerostar.
Oh my God.
Because, man, you stuck your nose where it didn't belong. You are the stupidest son of a bitch I might have ever met in my life. And you get your arm broken for it, which, to be honest, I'd be sympathetic if it wasn't exactly what you deserved. Suck less. Who's your low shot?
Yeah, I'm not going to get quite as violent as you, but my low shot is still the Mac because he allowed himself to be distracted by a manager with a squirt gun, and it cost him the match and the Cueto Cup.
Yeah, I mean, the Mac has a tendency to do that. You allow yourself to get distracted by Worldwide Underground, and you fail to live out your dream and become Lucha Underground champion. And now you get distracted by a water gun, and now you're out of the Cueto Cup. So always bet on Mac, huh? I don't think so. I'd prefer not to be in debt, thank you. So as far as my high spot goes, God, I don't want to pick a certain someone, so let me think. You know what? My high spot's going to be Masquerita Sagrada because he showed he's not screwing around anymore. He was a part of the best cinematic tonight, and he showed the Rabbit Tribe that, yeah, I'm willing to do heinous things to your own kind just to get you to leave me the hell alone. That's commitment right there. So Masquerita is going to be my high spot because I think he finally got the message through loud and clear.
Yeah, that's fair. I think my spot is just going to be Pentagon Dark because he advanced and he got to break an arm, even if it wasn't the arm he originally wanted to break.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, all right. That's high spots and low shots. Do you have any concluding remarks about this episode of Lucha Underground tonight?
I'm excited to see what happens over these next 3 weeks with these final 8 guys getting whittled down. Because at this point, it almost has to be like 2 matches a night. Like we're gonna get 2 matches next week, 2 matches the final week, and then the 2 semifinal matches the week after that. And that also leads me to wonder if we're gonna get other matches or if these matches are just gonna be so long that we're only gonna be able to get 2 a night.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I know. That's why I made it.
I think there will be other stuff, but we shall see. With that said, though, this has been Lucha.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm right there with you. With that said, though, this has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my co-owner commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment, subscribe, and like the video. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for Lucha Underground reviews on YouTube. So please leave that like. Now, to give the quickest possible rundown, all of our Lucha Underground content is in the description. If you're a newbie or you're a seasoned listener and maybe you just want to go back and retread some stuff, it's all right there. Just look in the description, as well as everything TWitWoW is a part of. Biggest thing I want to plug there is our Patreon, specifically the $3 Discord. It's the hottest thing we got going right now. I want to see that Discord filled up. It's only $3 a month, and this really is the time to donate, because if you donate now, you'll be able to get your membership in time for August, and you're talking, you'll have Discord access for when we're rounding out G1, because that's the G1 Climax Finals, and SummerSlam. So, guys, if you haven't yet, please consider donating $3. Of course, you already know about the other pay tiers with live reactions and a live reactions and review bundle. So check that all out. Now, as far as content goes, going to make this real simple. Coming up later tonight, we do have an NXT review for you.
And then we will be able to go live at 11 with that. We honestly, if we really tried, we could probably go live at like 10:45, but we're probably just going to use that time to like chill and kind of prepare for our fourth recording of the day mentally. So yeah, we should be able to go live at 11 o'clock with that, and we should be done with that by like midnight at the latest, if not quarter of.
Exactly. And then after that, Thursday, we got G1 Climax Day 8, the B block. That'll be coming at you live, 3 p.m. And then, of course, the big thing, live at 8 p.m. is going to be Q&A. Now, it's the last time I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be very succinct about it. Q&A. If you haven't submitted yet, you still got time. You still got time. The window hasn't closed. 4 questions per Q&A. You can submit them to us either Twitter, YouTube if you're not part of the Discord, or the Discord. Those are the only 3 modes I'm really plugging, or the Facebook, because I know Alex Foster uses that, so we have a Facebook page. Visit it, like it, all that shit. You get up to 4 questions. You can divvy them up however you like, ask whatever you like, get your questions in. Again, we go live tomorrow, 8 p.m., for Q&A. So if you haven't got your questions in, please do so. With that said, guys, though, that's it for us. We'll see you again at 11 for our NXT review. But, of course, to be a part of it, you got to stay tuned.